All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to need Node.js so we can use a Node Package Manager. So go over to nodejs.org and you'll see a button here for, it'll say LTS for long-term support. You also see this one that says current. Do not get the current one because that may have some bugs. This one has been around a little while. It's more baked. So go ahead and click this, and this will go ahead and download Node.js, go through the prompt, and get it installed. That should work for Windows, Linux, Mac. It'll have the appropriate download for you. So once you have that, then you should have NPM. So we can go over here. So the next thing we need is we need to install Angular CLI. So what Angular CLI is going to allow us to do is to quickly bootstrap a project. It'll scaffold everything for us, so we don't have to mess around with the build scripts or anything like that. And it'll allow us to generate components, services, classes, and interfaces really easily. So you'll see that as we go through the tutorial. So let's go over to our terminal. And if you're on Windows, it should be the command prompt. And so if you're on a Mac like I am, you should be able to type which npm, and it'll tell you where it's located. Type npm-version, and type node-version, and 8.4. Perfect. So you should see something like that. It might be a different command on Windows to figure out which version you have there, but you should be able on Windows to run npm-version, node-version to get your versions. So from here, if we go back over to the instructions, we can see it says npm install -g at Angular CLI. So let's go ahead and run that. Make sure you put the @/CLI. So what that's going to do is it's going to install this package globally, -g for global, the Angular CLI. So we'll be able to run Angular CLI commands. So we'll let that go ahead and install. This might take a few minutes here to a few seconds based on how fast your internet connection is. Perfect. So in 16 seconds, downloaded Angular CLI 1.7.4 is the version we're using. So we can now run the next commands. ng new, my dream app. So we'll call it ng. We'll say new. We want to create a new Angular project. And let's call it recipe. Yeah, we'll just call it recipe. So hit enter, and you'll see it go ahead and it'll start scaffolding your project here. This might take a couple seconds to run. It's building out your entire project along with tests, everything else. We're not going to really get into testing in this project. As you can see, Karma and EDE for end-to-end testing. We're not going to really focus on that in this tutorial. But it's nice to know you have everything there in case you do need to use it. If this is your first time installing it, may take a minute. While it's doing that, you'll see the next command is to change directories into your name of your app, and then you can write ng serve, and that'll serve it up over default. The port's 4200. The next thing you want to do is we need an editor of some sort. You could just open these files in Notepad or whatever, but that's going to be kind of hard. You're not going to get a lot of support. You're going to do everything by hand, so you're going to want some sort of a text editor. You could use Atom. Sublime's another good one. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and click download for Mac here, or download for Windows, I should say, and probably even Linux. It's got a lot of great features, IntelliSense, so it'll kind of pop up like you're seeing here in the picture. Debugging capabilities, built-in version control, and it's got handy extensions to get started. So go ahead and download that. And one other thing to mention is we'll be using Bootstrap for our styling. So that way we don't have to spend too much time working on our styling. So let's go ahead and go back over. Perfect. So it looks like it's all done now. So let's go ahead And let's go ahead and type ls or dir on Windows. We'll see we have recipe there. Let me clear this. So we have recipe, cd into that directory. Perfect. So now we have our project. So now what we can do is let's go ahead and open this up in Visual Studio Code. So you can type code and say dot, and that will launch it for you. Perfect. If that didn't launch, go ahead and manually open it, and then you can go up to File, Open, and then find the actual project. Perfect. So we should see some files here now. We can see our source directory, E2E, which is our testing I kind of mentioned earlier, node modules. So these are all the packages that got installed, as well as some other stuff in here, which we can go through in the next video.